Greetings family, welcome back to the channel. This is Choice in Tarot and Dreams, and this is a monthly tarot reading for the star sign of Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising for the month of August 2026. Alright, what we got going on for you, Scorpio? So we got the Devil, the Five of Pentacles, and the Sun. And as an additional card for additional interpretation and meaning, we got the Chariot. Alright. So, beginning of the month then, and however you wish to take this is a very simple reading. You know, we're not going to get complicated with these readings here because they're very general, all right? The Devil, right? So this is, you know, satisfying the senses, being a slave to the senses, like we all are, you know what I mean? But there may be periods where you just indulge a little bit excessively, you give in to the temptations, right? Which we all do, you know, but sometimes it can be excessive, it can be a little bit destructive. So, you know, the idea with that is to have more of a mature thought process about things. You know, if you're going to indulge in something that might give you a couple minutes of pleasure, but in the longer term it's going to be rather destructive, you have to ask yourself, well, is it really worth it? You know what I mean? And most times it's not. But the temptation in the moment is just overwhelming, and you think, you know what, I just want to do this thing. You know what I mean? And we all go through that. The temptations of life, it's just a natural part of being alive here in the material realm. You know what I mean? But maybe there's you're doing it a bit excessively, you know what I mean? So you need to just keep a watch on that, you know. Five of Pentacles is really about perspectives, you know. It's the kind of woe is me type of perspective that you may have about, you know, your physical material circumstances and your situation in life. But that stuff really doesn't serve you at all. It's not helping you. It's interesting actually that you've got, you know, this, it's kind of a, you know, it's more about perspectives, but there seems to be a shift this month. Because look at what you got here. You got the Devil and the Five of Pentacles, but then you've got the Sun and the Chariot. Right, so you can see, I mean, it's kind of darkness on the one side, but light on the other side. There's an interesting sort of balance. There's an interesting dynamic going on for you this month. There seems to be a shift in perspectives for you this month, right? There seems to be a shift in focus. So, excuse me. So it could be that maybe you're facing some sort of loss this month. Maybe, you know what I mean, you're changing jobs, or you lose your job, or you know, maybe it's something, you know, your business fails or something like that, which is okay, you know what I mean. Most successful business owners have many failed businesses, you know, behind them, but it's that one business, you know, they learn from all of those things, and then they take all of their mistakes and their successes, and they eventually just build that one business that's just super successful, and that just takes care of them for the rest of their lives. You know what I mean? It's just a natural process. So it's nothing, you know, the loss and gain, it's the highs and lows of life. It's nothing, it's just part of life here. But it's sort of like, you know, it's this woe is me sort of attitude that you might have, and you think that, you know, everything, you know, everything's raining down on me all at once. It's just this dark cloud over my head, and, you know, nobody's here to help me. But actually, you know, there is. Maybe you're not looking in the right place. Maybe your focus is a bit too limited. You see what I mean? And it certainly seems to be. So there's sort of a destructive sort of pattern of behaviour that's going on with you. And then there's negative thought patterns there that are not serving you at all. You know, but it's interesting that you've got this at the beginning of the month, but then halfway towards the end of the month, the dynamic just shifts completely. There's an energy shift completely. So maybe you're facing some sort of loss this month, but then all of a sudden, you've realized that actually you look to the positives and you see that actually, yeah, I've got a lot going for me. There are many other things that I could be doing, and then you focus on the solutions. Here you seem to be focused on the problems, and if you focus on the problems, then those problems are just going to be overwhelming for you. And this is definitely the kind of energy that we see here, but if you focus on the solutions, right? So if you do suffer any kind of loss here, focus on the solutions, be positive. All right, to be positive this month. That's really the message for you. And it seems to be that you're going to be feeling very positive by the end of the month because you've got the sun. All right, this is divine guidance, man. This is divine energy, right? But this is just, you're going to be radiating this stuff, from your beingness at the end of this month. That, yeah, okay, you've suffered a loss, all right, it's just a part of life, and you might have this sort of negative, tendency to, look down on things and focus on the problems. But then there's a shift that goes on, that happens mid-month. And that just changes your perspective. It just changes everything. And then you have this positive attitude. And then with the Chariot, as well as an overall meaning, as an additional interpretation, you certainly seem to get things together by the end of the month because you're moving forward. It's a Chariot. It's momentum, right? On a deeper spiritual level, it's divine guidance, right? But more on a material level, on a superficial level, you're moving towards your goals. Maybe you have new goals. Maybe this stuff, it's necessary. It's out with the old and then in with the new type of thing. That all this stuff has to these destructive patterns of thoughts and these destructive behaviors. And maybe the job wasn't, if you lose a job, it means that you needed elsewhere to do something else. So maybe there's that type of thing that's going on, but there's divine guidance, man. This guiding you through this month. So I wouldn't worry about anything. If you do need to reach out for help this month, don't be afraid to reach out for help this month. Keep a watch over your behaviors. This stuff is not serving you at all. And keep a watch over your thought patterns as well. Don't put your head in your hands and woe is me all the time. That's not going to help you or anybody else at all. You know what I mean? Self-pity. It's the biggest indulgence. I feel like that's what's going on for you. You're indulging in self-pity. Yeah, it could be the sense pleasures and satisfying the senses and all of that, but it's indulging in self-pity more than anything else. But it seems to be that you come out of that this month, and that's a beautiful thing. There's balance and harmony by the end of this month. All right, everything that's happening this month for you is shifting you towards this, which is balance and harmony. That you get your priorities in order. You get rid of these negative patterns and these negative thought patterns and behaviors, and you take charge this month. By the end of this month, you're going to be taking charge. You're going to be moving forward, and things are going to be looking up, and it's going to be very positive. You're going to be radiating out this positive energy, and that's a beautiful thing. All right. So listen, whatever goes on for you, just enjoy the month. All right, and it's gonna be a massive learning process for you as well. All right, so have yourself a great month. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and share this with anybody who you think might find benefit in this. And I will catch you in the next one. All right, take care.